Tony Stark has always been a heavy hitter on the page, but his riches to riches ascension on the big screen was completely unexpected. I'd have chuckled a hearty chuckle if you told me a decade ago that he'd go on to eclipse Spider-Man's box office receipts, but the character more than deserved every bit of success he's enjoyed. Iron Man made his comic book debut in 1963 on the pages of Tales of Suspense issue 39. But no matter where he appears, Stark always manages to steal the show with his roguish charm and wit. And unlike many of the other Avengers, he's mortal, albeit a truly exceptional one. This is the quality that makes Iron Man one of Marvel's and Hollywood's most relatable heroes, even in spite of his eye-watering wealth. But despite how popular the hero has gotten, there's still a lot about him, both on the page and off, that's not common knowledge. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 mind-blowing Iron Man facts. Number 10. Tony Stark was based on Howard Hughes. Just as John Constantine was modelled on Sting and Clark Kent's appearance was inspired by Harold Lloyd, Iron Man was also based on a real-life person. Billionaire industrialist and notorious recluse Howard Hughes was the blueprint for Tony Stark, and it's easy to see which elements of the business icon found their way into the character, from his lust for invention to his lust for the ladies. Iron Man co-creator Stan Lee once described Hughes as one of the most colourful men of our time. With this in mind, it seems only fitting that Tony Stark's father, who made his comic book debut in 1970's Iron Man issue 28, is also named Howard, an obvious nod to the man who had such an impact on moulding Tony as we know him today. Number 9. Stan Lee created Iron Man to troll readers. The best fictional characters take the audience out of their comfort zone, and that's exactly what Stan Lee was aiming to do when he co-created Iron Man in the 60s. During the Cold War era, they turned to comics as a means of escapism, a world they could head to and shelter from the endless news reports about mounting international tensions. Consequently, wanting to cause a bit of mischief, Lee designed a character who starts out as a weapons manufacturer and an asset to the army. Coincidentally, the first Iron Man movie arrived at a time when the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan were dominating headlines, yet it still managed to strike a chord with the movie-going public. Number 8. Tony owns Area 51. Tony Stark has the resources to buy whatever he wants, whether that happens to be advanced technology or the bar General Ross is drinking in at the end of The Incredible Hulk. In the comic books, his wealth of assets also includes Area 51. Stark acquired the site in Avengers issue 19, but why he purchased it has never been revealed. Presumably it's the ideal place for him to work on new Iron Man tech away from prying eyes, or maybe he just wanted to pillage the alien artifacts that are rumoured to be housed there for his next suit of armour. Number 7. It took 17 years to get the first Iron Man movie off the ground. Work on an Iron Man movie began all the way back in 1990, when Universal Studios snapped up the rights to the character and plonked him in the hands of horror icon Stuart Gordon. That project never materialized, and the rights to the property bounced from pillar to post, with 20th Century Fox and New Line Cinema each holding them at one point. Just about everyone was tied to the project, with Joss Whedon, Quentin Tarantino, and Nicolas Cage all being involved in one form or another. After New Line failed to get an Iron Man film off the ground, the license reverted back to Marvel, and the comic book giant decided to develop the movie itself, making it the company's first self-financed venture. It's hard to imagine anyone in Hollywood turning down the chance to work with Marvel now, but around 30 writers passed up the opportunity to pen Iron Man due to the relative obscurity of the character back then, as well as Marvel's lack of big screen pedigree. And the eventual movie only went to, kickstart one of the most successful movie empires of all time. Number 6. Tom Cruise came this close to playing Tony Stark. Tom Cruise seems like the type to play a superhero, but for some reason, he never has. That almost changed in the 1990s though, when he was strongly linked with Iron Man while the rights to the character were at Fox. Cruise expressed interest in producing the film and starring as Tony Stark, but eventually dropped out because he wasn't keen on the script. That's probably for the best though, as that version of the movie sounded like a comic book fan's worst nightmare. Number 5. The Mandarin was almost the original Iron Man's villain. One of the most controversial things about the Iron Man movies was their depiction of his arch-nemesis, the Mandarin. who the third movie's director Shane Black reduced to little more than a red herring punchline. He was very nearly spared this undignified fate, however, and was at one point going to be the villain of the original movie. This Mandarin that showed up in an early draft was depicted as an Indonesian terrorist who hides in plain sight by masquerading as a billionaire playboy that Tony Stark knows well. Favreau, though, was concerned that a mystical villain would clash with the movie's grounded tone and eventually change course, but plans to include the Mandarin at some point remained on the roadmap. Number 4. Iron Man had a stint with the Guardians of the Galaxy. When Guardians of the Galaxy proved to be a box office smash in 2014, Marvel moved quickly to reboot its comic series to capitalize on the hype, reimagining each of the characters based on their movie counterparts. However, the Big M did what they always do when they want to boost a property's star power, and threw Iron Man into the mix for, no reason at all. A move which divided longtime fans. Whether or not it was simply to boost sales, Iron Man proved a surprisingly good fit for the team. Stark's Guardians membership may have been short-lived, but it was admittedly fun while it lasted, and no doubt helped the comics shift some extra units, as well as leaving fans eager to witness the long-awaited team-up between Stark, Star-Lord, and the rest of the gang when their paths cross in Avengers: Infinity War. Number 3. Tony Stark is richer than Bruce Wayne. Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne are two of the comic book world's most famous billionaires. But have you ever wondered who is richer? Stark is said to be worth some $12.4 billion, while Wayne is lagging behind on a mere $9.2. With that said, Wayne Enterprises actually makes $31 billion in annual revenue, while Stark Industries makes only $20 billion. Oh, poor guy. Number 2. He merged with Green Lantern in an alternate universe. After Marvel and DC pitted their iconic heroes against one another in the aptly titled DC vs Marvel Comics miniseries, the publishers teamed up and merged some of their characters to form all new ones under their shared Amalgam Comics imprint. One of those characters was Iron Lantern, a combination of Iron Man and Green Lantern. His alter ego is, unimaginatively, Hal Stark, an aircraft mogul who was fatally injured in a plane crash, but survives after fashioning a high-tech suit powered by a lantern-like battery. While wearing his lantern-based suit, he boasts the powers of flight, super strength, super speed, time travel, energy manipulation, and energy projection. In short, he's OP as fuck. Number 1. Stan Lee didn't write his first appearance. Despite the fact that Stan Lee came up with the idea for a quintessential capitalist hero, as well as many of the traits which have stuck with Iron Man over the years, he didn't actually write the story in Tales of Suspense 39, which introduced Tony Stark to the Marvel Universe. He was forced to hand over the writing duties to Larry Lieber, so it was him, along with artists Don Heck and Jack Kirby, who all played a key role in the character's creation. The latter two are actually credited with coming up with the look of Tony, his armor, and the majority of his supporting cast too, so you've got them to thank.
Gosh, can you believe that person said that about that particular video on that entry? I sure can't. But you should like, share and subscribe below anyway. And also, the people who made this video, they're right here. Go follow them and give them some love. Also, there's more content, probably above my head. Check it out. Or don't. 50-50.